Works very good. Bright display and the 7 colors are nice too. My factory gauge quit on my 1989 Dodge Ram, so I installed this gauge. Oil pressure runs about 65 PSI driving at highway speeds, about 25 PSI at idle. It's nice to see a number versus a gauge with no numbers. The gauge is very responsive to engine RPM as it should be. Very satisfied. Old oil pressure gauge was going bad on my WJ. Everything fitted perfectly. Keep in mind you will need an extension for your wiring harness, or if you're pretty handy like myself, you can use 16 gauge wiring to complete the installation. Shout out to Amazon Prime for exceptional service. Great oil pressure gauge. Needed this to check oil pressure on my 1JZ. Very accurate and clean looking. Figured I'd purchase their boost gauge as well, and was well worth it. Very simple install. Now all I need are some gauge pods. The wiring was about as simple as it gets. Just follow the directions that GlowShift sends. It works, it fit, and it's fairly accurate. It was within 5 pounds per square inch of the My Shop's gauges after I had them verify it's reading good, as I'm regularly over 90 pounds per square inch on the meter. I just want to know that I have pressure at all after a few turbo failures, so it is doing as asked. The backlight is different than the boost gauge next to it. I wish that wasn't that way, but it's close enough to pass at a glance. We'll be adding a few more gauges as I upgrade, so hopefully I will find 2 that match nicely to put in this pod. Fit nicely into a cubby gauge pod for my ag performance. This gauge was purchased along with oil temp and transmission temp gauges and is much better than relying on the oil pressure light in the dash. However, the sender is the only thing that keeps this from being perfect. The VDO style sender started failing after 4 months of use, and its odd resistance range, 3 to 160 ohms, compared to other senders, means that replacements can only be sourced from GlowShift or ProSport. Save yourself the hassle of getting a warranty replacement for the sender, as those can be found on the cheap. Other than this issue, the looks and other features of this gauge, such as the dimming and color choices, make it a pretty good bargain. This is one of 3 gauges I installed: an oil temperature gauge, an oil pressure gauge, and a transmission temperature gauge. The gauges appear to be accurate and look amazing. It's been a year and no problems. Click link in description for more reviews.